Well, I support Manchester United, and the player Erik ten Hag is obsessed about is Frenkie de Jong. Even if you tell him that don't sign any player this season and get me Frenkie de Jong, he will accept. Now, on the side of Arsenal, it looks like the player that Mikel Arteta and Edu are obsessed about is Raphinha. This player is one of those players that Arsenal has always been chasing for since last summer. Even in the January transfer window, Arsenal has been chasing in for, or we are chasing in for Raphinha. They paid, or they made an offer of 70 million euros. It was turned down by Barcelona. After Arsenal missing out on Mikhailo Modric, they went to Barcelona. They put in an offer of 70 million euros, and Barca said, no, go out with your money. So, fresh Raphinha to Arsenal boast. This is going to be music to all Arsenal fans all over the world, because the gulf that was in between this deal, the gulf that was in between Arsenal and Barcelona to sell Raphinha looks like it has really narrowed down, and there is a huge positivity that Arsenal might finally get their man in there for you. Welcome to Rokani Media Football. How are you guys, and where are you watching us from? My team lost yesterday by 2-0. Arsenal won over the weekend. Arsenal is now 22 points clear ahead of my team that I support, Manchester United. Good for Arsenal. They are really the best team in the league. The Man City is still 8 points behind Arsenal with the game in hand. We are talking Lacazette going on and really hailing Mikel Arteta, plus Jack Wilshere revealing to us what is really so special about Mikel Arteta, because he's just a manager who is known, who does not really hold a lot or huge experience or vast experience in managing big clubs, but how has he managed to transform Arsenal into a much more better team than it would have been? Now, smash the like button close to 200 times. Rokani David is my name. Rokani Media Football is the YouTube channel. Welcome to the Football News Show. Guys, it's the 3rd of April, and Ramadan Kareem to my Muslim friends. My Christian viewers and subscribers. This Sunday, it's Easter Sunday. Yesterday was Palm Sunday, and obviously everything has really gone ahead to go on very well. Now, let's go to this story being brought us by Foot Insider via the Sun Football. They told us Raphinha is one player who could be put up for sale. This comes with Barca looking to raise funds as much as 178 million euros. And the report reveals Barcelona want to recoup at least as much as they paid to sign Raphinha. Remember, they signed him at 65 million euros, and Arsenal are willing even to pay 5 more of that amount of money to take the tally to 70. Now, Arsenal is linked to Raphinha again, as I told you that Edu and Mikel Arteta are obsessed with signing Raphinha and bringing him to Arsenal. And you saw it very well over the weekend that when Arsenal is not having Bukayo Saka off that right wing, the balance doesn't really come up, because in the modern way of playing football, a left-footed player is now played as a right winger or a right forward. Now, Arsenal are really in the hand of a player who can come in and really give Bukayo Saka a very huge level of competition, and obviously act as a player to come in even when Bukayo Saka is away. His absentia is not felt at Arsenal. So Mikel Arteta has been given a boost by Barcelona because they want to sell players. You know, last season it was Frenkie de Jong who was up for sale, and they couldn't sell him because they had close to 17 million euros they had to pay to Frenkie de Jong. De Jong had agreed a deal with Manchester United. Barcelona had agreed the fee of De Jong with Manchester United, but they couldn't pay De Jong 17 million euros, and that stopped the deal from really happening. Now, with Busquets trying to leave the club and uncertain of his future at Barcelona, Xavi is seeing Frenkie de Jong as the ideal replacement for Sergio Busquets. And now, Barcelona need to raise 170 million euros to see to it that they can really get in players. And one of those players that they're really looking at too is Raphinha, because he still has some huge value on him. They can get close to 70 million euros from him, as Arsenal was willing to pay that money to really get him in January, because his position has very many players at Barcelona that can play it. Ousmane Dembele. He can play that position very well. With Barcelona planning to bring back Messi at the club, they can sell Raphinha because Raphinha earns close to £200,000 a week in Barcelona. They want to really get him out, or he's one of those players that is thought Barcelona want to move out of the club to facilitate the return of Lionel Messi and maybe the purchasing of other players. Why? Barcelona really need another midfielder, because even when Busquets leave, that means they need to bring in a CDM. There is Zubimendi, there is Ruben Neves, and for them to raise and for them to sign players, they need to find themselves in a position of really getting some players off. And I think that list has players like Ansu Fati, there is Neto, there is Lenglet, there is Raphinha. Who else? Jordi Alba. So Barcelona might find themselves selling close to 5 players, but 2 players that are being looked at to raise the amount of money that Barcelona wants to really get themselves into business again. That is Raphinha and Ansu Fati. Right now, they are the most valuable players at Barcelona. And as it stands, Barcelona just can't not sell if at all they want to strengthen their squad, because even if they go with the players they're having right now in the Champions League next season, they're going to look light. They're going to look light. So they need to reinforce in certain areas. And I think Raphinha is one of those that can be put up for sale to facilitate the coming back of Messi. Now, Raphinha himself, would he love to come and play for Arsenal? He made it clear, I think, towards the end of the January transfer window that he loves Arsenal in the Premier League. The best team that plays the best football for him is Arsenal, and I think he'll be looking forward to going to Arsenal, because Barcelona have to sell a player, but which player are they willing to sell? 2 players having valued the squad of Barcelona that are really like surplus to requirement, and they're having some good value onto them. That is Raphinha and Ansu Fati. But Arsenal will go in and really sign Raphinha. So that is the fresh Raphinha to Arsenal boost that I got for you this morning, because you guys need to know about this before we get into these stories hailing Mikel Arteta as a manager of Arsenal. So that's it for Raphinha, and let's go to Alexandre Lacazette on the season that Arsenal are really having this year. He has told us that Arsenal, I'm not surprised. I worked with Mikel Arteta. He had this for his project. I know this way of working. I know his way of working. I'm not surprised at the success of the club, and I'm happy for my teammates there. That is Alexandre Lacazette. Remember, he was at Arsenal. I think he came in around 2012, 2013, and he left in 2022. That's it. He left in 2022 as a free agent and is playing for Lyon. Sorry about that. In his own words, he's telling us that he's not surprised with the season Arsenal really having under Mikel Arteta. If at all you know Mikel Arteta, he's a very good coach. He's a very good coach and a manager. And nowadays, it's hard for you to thrive when you're only a manager and not a coach. One will say, how do the two differ? You know, a coach is supposed to be hands-on. Needs to be on the training ground and obviously take the players through the drills, tactics, rhythms, sequences and patterns, and those triangles that they build in during the game. While a manager can be just seated, sometimes he cannot even attend the training sessions. He just gets the match report that so and so is the much better player, he's the fitter player, he has put such a performance, and then he names the starting 11. While the game is going on, the manager will always make decisions on the pitch, you get, depending on to what the coaches are really telling him. But to be a manager and a coach, you must be able to be hands-on onto the pitch while training, and while managing means to really do the managerial jobs and really be in charge of the entire team as far as the season is concerned. So Mikel Arteta is both a manager, and a coach. So Lacazette is not surprised because he worked with him and he knows the drills that he really takes his players through, and his demands are really high, because if you don't fulfill his demands, then you can really be thrown under the bus. You know, he threw Ozil under the bus. He threw Aubameyang under the bus, and very many other players that he found in at Arsenal are no longer here. When you remember the squad that Arteta inherited, it had Aubameyang, Lacazette, David Luiz, Kolasinac, Hector Bellerin. There was forgotten other names, but you know the players. Nicola Pepe, very many players were at Arsenal, but finally Arsenal has really shown them the exit. Torreira is one of those players that Mikel Arteta never even gave a chance at Arsenal, and he never fit the profile of a player known as of a manager known as Mikel Arteta. So for Lacazette, he's not surprised because he knows the traits of Mikel Arteta and what he calls in for. If you don't meet his standards, he'll throw you under the bus. And by the way, for Lacazette, Arteta would have wanted to really keep him at the club of Arsenal, but Lacazette just got to know that I cannot meet the expectations and that asks of the club of Arsenal, and he said, all right, let me go back to the team that Arsenal bought me from on a free, and that's where he's playing in France. And over the weekend, they beat PSG by 1-0. So that is Lacazette for you, and obviously pushing high in standards at Lyon. Now, Jack Wilshere also had certain things to say about Mikel Arteta, and he said, Mikel Arteta hasn't got much experience as a coach when you think about it, but his detail and his level of thinking, when he says something to you, he's right, and you know that straight away. He's feeling you and knows what you are feeling. That's a special part of Mikel Arteta. So that means this goes all well to how a good man manager Mikel Arteta is. However much is a good manager, however much is a good coach, but he's also a good man manager, meaning that his man-to-man management has really put him in the situation of going all out and really getting in positivities from the players of Arsenal. And Jack Wilshere is one of those that is coaching the under-18, and he always goes ahead and really talks to him, and he is speaking out from a very evidential side of Mikel Arteta. So guys, what are your thoughts about the fresh Raphinha to Arsenal boost? Do you think Arsenal will go in for Raphinha in the summer? Because Barcelona look like he's one of those players they're willing to sell and obviously get in some cash to facilitate the return of Lionel Messi, because the entire Barcelona is on tenterhooks. They're eagerly waiting for the news of Lionel Messi, because Messi looks like he has given Barcelona green light that he wants to return and is returning as a free agent. They are not paying any penny to him. So Barcelona are really trying to find ways of really getting him in, because Tabias, the president of La Liga, had the following to say about this deal. How did I miss out on this? He said, I'm talking about Tabias. He's known as Javier Tebas. He said, we have strict economic controls. At the end of each window, we tell all the clubs in La Liga what they can spend. In the case of Barcelona, they have to drop from spending on wages and transfers from 650 million euros to 450 million euros. So it's a budget of minus 200 million euros. However, any sale of Raphinha could come after Barcelona boss Xavi hailed him as a future of Barcelona. So as it stands, they have to sell players, and Raphinha is one of those that is going to be sold according to the sources coming in from Barcelona, and that is the Footy Insider. After that, your thoughts onto Lacazette and Jack Wilshere, onto Mikel Arteta being a manager who is really hands-on, good at man-to-man management, and obviously being a very good coach on the field of play. So your reactions are welcome in the comment section below. Rokani David remains my name. I cover you all in the precious blood of Jesus Christ. I sign out for now. See you later, my Muslim friends. Ramadan Karim. I'm out.